Hi, Treasure Huntress here. This is my first picking video. It's my Goodwill haul from, I think it was last week. Just wanted to do a quick intro. I live in Pennsylvania, and I am turning my eBay business from a part-time business into a full-time business, or at least one of my full-time sources of income. Okay, so I wanted to talk about a couple of things that I found. It's not all glassware. We'll get to the other stuff in a minute. I knew next to nothing about China and stuff when I started picking, but you can find actually a lot of stuff for very cheap that will go for, 4 to 10 times what you pay for it, if not way more than that. These are just things that I picked up that are relatively small and wouldn't be too much trouble to ship. Generally what you want to look for on China is not a lot of the newer imitation porcelain stuff that's made in China or Taiwan have these gold bands around it, but I mean generally stuff that looks older, as long as it's in acceptable condition, is probably better. And you're going to want, if it doesn't have a maker's mark on the bottom, some kind of stamp or something, you're going to want to avoid it, because 99 times out of 10 it's just made in China, cheap knockoff of something, and it's not worth anything. American-made China and British China, and occasionally China made in Japan, but there's a lot of newer stuff from Japan that isn't worth as much, so you want to be careful with that. Definitely anything that says SPOD is good, and you will make back your money if you're buying it at Goodwill. Mason jars. I was very surprised. I mean, I got this for like 25 or 50 cents. I'm going to sell it for about $4. Not that big a profit, but if you want to get more of these, especially the 1776 Centennial, or some of the really older ones in a lot set, you can sell them for a lot of money, I found. And I'm very surprised and happy about that, because there are a ton of jars here. And not many people seem to buy them. Because it's a lot of trouble to keep glass in your house. But if you do a churn and burn method, these things are very cheap. Again, the Golden Harvest drinking jar, because it's a drinking jar, it's collectible. So, amber Corningware. Amber Corningware is another really neat thing that you can pick up that I see all the time in Goodwills. Amber Corningware, usually it says Vision Corningware. It's heavier. I think the reason that Pyrex actually sells quite well on eBay, ridiculously well for, it being just dishes that you see around most people's houses, is because Pyrex recently moved its operations, I think. Either they outsourced it to China or they did some kind of change in the manufacturing process. But whatever they did, it means that the newer versions of these are not as heavy and they break more easily. So in a sense it's not, Pyrex isn't Pyrex anymore. So that's why these are going for a ridiculous amount of money online a lot of the time, especially if you sell them in big lots. But that requires a lot of shipping, so you have to be careful. This, I mean, most people would probably mistake it for an ashtray or something, but it's called Oroco or something like that, but it's from made in France. I don't see much glassware made in France, so I was intrigued, and it was like 99 cents. It turns out it's part of a really expensive set. It's not in very good condition because of the gold band is worn out on the top, but the rest of it's okay. So I think I can sell it for at least, $8 easily on eBay. I found a couple of these, Wayne Gretzky and a couple of other figures, Pro Action. Generally toys that are mint in the box are usually a good bet. You want to Google it first, of course. But action figures, collectible sports figures, I mean, I got this for $1.99. I want to flip it for at least twice that, if not, 4 times that. I've seen them going for, $12, so we'll see how that goes. Care Bears. Unlike most other stuffed animals, Care Bears actually do sell. Generally speaking, not so many of the other cartoon characters sell as well. Disney doesn't sell as well as I thought it would, but some stuff in Disney does. generally what you want to look for in stuffed animals, if you're really lucky, is to find really stiff ones, not the ones, not necessarily that carnival ones, but that are older looking. And I mean, some people will think they're really ratty, so they're not worth anything. But I have a stiff stuffed animal, a couple stiff stuffed animals that I'll show you on a different clip. But those are worth a lot of money, some of the older ones. But Care Bears, anything Care Bears, I'm sure you can sell it for double what you pay for it. Not, except for the puzzles. I want to put a caveat on that. The figurines, the stuffed animals and the figurines for Care Bears, yes. The perfume for Care Bears, yes. There was a perfume from Hot Topic or something like that. Sold that in seconds. Oh, trolls. So this is one of the more modern ones made in China. It's not one of the ones with real mohair because it's glued in. Some of the really older trolls that are worth a few $100 a piece have, you know, actual hair plugs like like a Barbie doll, and the hair is really soft because it's mohair. However, of the newer trolls, the ones with jewels in their belly button are worth money. And you can probably flip some of the other ones even if they're not. If they're made by Russ or Ace, this one's made by Ace. But Russ or Ace, if you sell them in lots, you can make some money. So, and they do sell surprisingly well. I mean, there's a decent market for them on eBay. But these are the only modern ones I know of that sell really well individually, with a few exceptions. Board games. So I found this Masterpiece, the art auction game by Parker Brothers. Never heard of it before. It's from 1972. It has all the pieces in it, and it's worth up to $40. So we'll see how that sells. It may be one of those things I want to have listed instead of churning and burning, just because the potential to find the right buyer and make more money is tempting. But the rest of this other stuff, I'm just gonna, you know, try to flip as quickly as possible. And I'll have some more tips in the future about Barbies and how to list women's clothing and lots of other stuff. So once I have a few videos up, you can subscribe to me, or you can subscribe now. Yeah, this is Treasure Huntress, over and out.